all of the Frost Daggers have now returned. Devin, you mentioned where we landed, but my memory is unclear. It's like just an empty field to me.
We all at the same time. We come out of our visions, and we are standing on a platform in the sky amongst the clouds.
And there's.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So one way there's stairs that head down. We can't see through the clouds, but we hear the ocean that direction, and we surmise that is the way back to our ship, away from whatever leads up on this other set of stairs that lead up into the clouds. Again, we can't see where it goes, but it just goes that direction.
And to reiterate something the dragon said before, was climb no further. At this point, that seems to become applicable again, as we see more stairs that go higher.
Yeah.
And we've got...
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you got it.
I think everybody looks more or less the same, except that Dailu and Thane are holding some very fancy new weapons they did not have before.
We are, yeah.
And Fuero is missing.
And Fuero is missing, yes.
But Tara is there, right?
Yep. And we briefly at this juncture discuss like what we saw, what happened. I think Vinaya was fairly close-lipped about the details.
Now you understand why.
Yeah. Oren and Sato told us a little bit. And Vane talked about having been in there with Fuero.
Yeah, and I think basically the first words that Vane... Actually, I think the first thing he did when he came out is probably cast Detect Magic, because that's always what happens when he goes through... Yeah. So he came out and he pulled out his wand to Detect Magic and checked his paranoia again. And then he saw Thane and Dailu and their great new weapons and their big smiles. And it was like, those are Fey tricks.
Dailu and Thane were essentially like, there are Fey tricks, and they're not Fey tricks.
They can't.
Hey, you don't know anything.
We hide fair and square.
If they're Fey tricks, why are they real?
In our hands.
Yeah. And at this point, we also realized that we had left behind, the weapons that we had left in the Feywild and Dailu's 1,000 ball bearings. Everything, or not in the Feywild, in the dream space, which we were definitely at this point strongly suspecting was a Fey thing, if not totally certain that it was a Fey thing. And yeah, Dailu and Thane are just holding these fancy new weapons, like...
To be fair, Vane thinks everything's a Fey trick, so...
It's true.
Was it a Fey trick? I don't think so.
He calls Fey, like, in folktale, they call wolf.
Yeah.
To be fair to Vane, most of the fuckery we have had to deal with has, in fact, been Fey trickery.
It has been. He's been right.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Scout, I cut you off.
But not this time. This time it wasn't a Fey trick. Yeah. And then we still had the notebook, I think, and we didn't roll. Dailu and Thane, I think, didn't roll particularly well. Or no, it's just we didn't have the magical aptitude to be like, what's up with these? Are they magic? Are they fancy?
The weapons.
Yeah, the weapons. And Vane and Oren checked them out.
Before that happens, real fast, just for what our characters know at this point, Vane gives the short version of that. Said that all these weapons were gifts. Oren and Sato give their thing where not a lot of information is gleaned. But from Benaya, the information that we do have is that she found Black Razor. Black Razor was out of its box, wanted to murder mushroom people. Vinaya wouldn't let it, and then she said that she wouldn't like you for this, which Vinaya and Tracy thought was Echo. And so that leads Vane to tell us that we are soldiers in a war between Althen and the Fae, and we're on the side of the Fae against our will. And so that's where we're at, lore-wise.
Did Vane say Althen versus the Fae here? I guess he probably did. I think he did at this point. You're right. I
had it down here.
Yeah. Because I think at this point he was like, Echo gave us these weapons. It's real weird that she'd be working with Althen and then also send us to fight him with these weapons. But
Well, because up to this point, we
Yeah.
hadn't connected anything else of Echo other than when Echo was at the Echo was at the place with Althen, and
Yep.
things are about
Yep.
to change. But yeah, but at this point, we were like, oh, okay, this must be a war against Althen and the people that are doing that stuff, because we've only ever seen her in this weird, kind of ambivalent but a little bit aggressive state.
yeah, and I think the biggest thing was they all the clues point to us treating us as warriors in a war. And the only people that we were going to be inherently fighting was going to be Smokework. Was
Yeah.
Vane's perspective here. He was
The other
like,
big, oh sorry,
and then Vane said that I think he mentioned the challenge that Echo that the being mentioned and that the fake Voyeur mentioned of like by the end of the day there will be a great trial that you'll have to overcome, and he's I think he mentioned that here too. Oh, I just wanted to restate our purpose here again, because a lot of things have happened now that we've recapped since we've talked about why we came here. And it was because we wanted to take Wave here to learn something or find something that would do something for us, question marks, because we'd been getting visions and things, and we thought that probably it'd be great to do that because if the God of Roads is giving visions to Orin through Wave, then the God of Roads is probably looking to help us with what we're trying to do.
And presumably power up Wave.
yeah, I was.
That's
Orin was
right.
very much of the mind that like if we go to this, I get my like awakened super weapon version of Wave, and we can just go and like kick some ass all over the ocean. And the God of Roads will be like, I'll fully go, like, drink the Kool-Aid, full cleric all the time, like whatever, just make me super powered so that we can, in Orin's head, so that my friends will stop dying, and finally I can be powerful enough that no one I know has to die anymore. That's my.
Yeah, I can't wait. This is gonna be good.
As God of Roads just flips the table, what? Force cube isn't good enough for you?
One other thing about Orin, Vane mentions that when there were the Fae, that the Fae spoke of the sacrifice oddly made for Vane, and
Yeah.
Orin just followed. This is the only time that oddly, after they've disappeared, has been like anything that speaks to what happened to them has been brought up at all. Like as far as
Yep.
Orin knows, like they might be dead, but like they just never, they were just gone. And so this is the first time that like some kind of concrete speaking of a sacrifice was made is now known to the
Yeah.
party.
And Vane also doesn't know anything about what that was. He didn't press it, as he probably should have. He kind of got busy interrogating other parts of the of that. But yeah, AJ and Vane have no idea what that is about.
AJ doesn't know.
AJ doesn't know.
Well, because it's a lie.
Paul doesn't know either. Yeah.
If
Well,
we're going off this way,
I've checked it with Jared. He at least he said that is what Echo or what. Okay, bleep again. What this entity meant to say was that.
I mean, I do. Do you not want me to? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I think I know.
I
I
want.
think you think you know.
Okay,
Are you guys fine with Devin saying the thing?
let's
I mean,
do it
that
out
was
of
gonna be a
recording.
good-
Keep
Well,
Paul make a note
actually-
for the next time we do theory crafting.
Oh my god.
I'll say what I think you think it is, because that way
Oh
if
my
it's not
God.
what you're thinking of, you don't have to say it and spoil it for people.
Oh my god.
Because this isn't a spoiler for us. I think all of us know this, which is that Audley sacrificed herself for Vanaya. To let Vanaya return after the initial TPK,
Yes,
because
I think
Vanaya
out of
was not going to die.
right,
Uh,
out of character, we have discussed this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, my stuff is out of character stuff that I thought we'll talk about it later. I don't want to linger too much on this, but
theory crafting.
yeah. Either way, this is the first time that we hear out loud from anybody speaking of Audley's sacrifice.
yes, that's correct. Because I don't think Vanaya also has mentioned anything to any of us.
No. I mean, Benaya's not even 100% sure.
To this day, Benaya has not said anything.
No.
Spoilers.
Well-
but she doesn't share.
Well, here's the reason that she hasn't. Well, one reason that she hasn't talked about it very much is that she's not even really sure that that is what happened. Like, she knows that she heard Audley's voice as she was whisked out from under certain death, and like, it's a reasonable assumption, but she's still pretty uncomfortable with saying firmly what happened. So yeah.
Or speculating, or in any way sharing.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is not
Yeah.
this is not any actual frustration. I love that this is a point that Orin doesn't get to know for so long. Like, it's awesome. But if Orin ever finds out, like, what the fuck?
Hell to pay.
Good. Appropriate.
It's gonna be like some Fey whisper on the wind when we enter the Feywild, and like Van will be like, "Huh, that has a very similar like sound vocabulary as that one time Oddly whispered to me as I came back from death."
One last thing on that last page, like Scout was saying, Orin and Vane check out the weapons, and I think I must have gotten the higher roll because it says Orin checks out. But they are fabled Genasi weapons that were lost a long, long time ago, favored by thieves and assassin, and Orin
Lies.
Lies.
Oh yeah, I lie, and I say that you're all are time thieves, and the reason they went missing is because you guys took them from back in time, and that's probably what happened.
I'm pretty sure Vane was trying to tell you the truth over the top, because I think and like Orin was like, no.
Whoa.
Yeah, shush.
Wait.
You all are time thieves, and you're the reason that these things are gone for time.
And Orin rolled so well on that deception check there that Paul thought that was the true story of these weapons.
Oh my god.
Wow.
When writing lies.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is so
I
good.
love the way that your brain works, man. Like,
Me too.
But also, like that whole like Devin
fingers
thing,
know the
like
truth,
writing
but-
down lies but not knowing it. I love you. This is perfect.
Yep.
Then we end the session by deciding to go
wait.
up the stairs.
There's one more thing that happened here, I think. Actually, no, maybe it happened when we got up the stairs.
Next,
it's
are
probably-
you talking about Tara?
No, but I think it is higher up the stairs. So yeah, you're right. We can continue.
We took a short rest here. I don't think we noted it, but because Dilo and Thane needed to attune to their new magic weapon. So when we opened the session, we had, me and Paul had gotten PDFs with the details of these weapons, which are dope. Which I think we didn't reveal these things, so maybe we can just reveal them as we go. The first thing though that folks noticed, I think, right away when Dailu attuned to Riffraff was she got scarier. Mechanically, 3 times scarier than usual, because Riffraff gave her proficiency with intimidations,
Nice.
which tripled her intimidation modifier. So Dailu suddenly just has this real menacing aura as soon as she gets up from her rest, carrying this very pretty sword. Dailu also reminded everyone, as we were discussing, like, what's up with Wero, or I think said for the first time that Wero healed her at some point, which was not a thing that we knew she could do.
Yeah, that was a really amusing moment, because I remember it was like, wow, yeah, they were like a great fae there, it seems like, or something. And then Dahlia was like, yeah, she may have done something pretty supernatural earlier.
Yeah,
Mention.
I just forgot. Swords. So big stairs. We went up the big stairs.
Oh, right. Thane with the joke about saying that trespasser tells you to kill things.
Oh yeah, because
Oh, shit.
they were like, "Hey, are those weapons talking to you?" And we were like, "No, they seem pretty quiet so far."
Sorry, I was being a little distracted. Yeah. So, yeah, I jokingly said, "Yeah, mine tells me to kill things." But then at that, it does talk to me and say, "Shh, you're not supposed to keep. You're supposed to keep that to yourself." And Thane then covers for it and says, "Ha ha ha! I'm just joking."
And I believe. Hang on, go on, because I think I still have. I don't remember. Hang on. Carry on. I'm
Okay.
gonna look up if I still have a record of a thing that was said.
So then Trespasser tells me that tells Thane that Riffraff has been the death of many a rogue. Thane's worried for Dailu at that, obviously. And Dailu and Thane have a side conversation about that.
Yeah. Oh, yep. Here it is.
Yeah.
At the same time, just about the same time, in Thane's mind, Trespasser speaks. In Dailu's mind, she hears, "Yo." Dailu goes, "Hello." And Riffraff says, "Where are we going?" And Dailu at this point gets, I think we described it as a look on her face that all of the people who have talked to weapons in their mind recognize as the look of somebody who is talking to a sword in their mind. But when asked, Dailu goes, no. I'm not. And Riffraff in her mind responds, "Yes, lie to them. Lie to your friends."
Oh no.
Dailu replies, "Yeah, I do all the time." And I don't remember what this was in response to, but at some point, Riffraff said, "Fuck Whelm."
I think you might have asked them, "Hey, do you know Whelm and Wave and Whelm?"
Yeah. And then Dailu was like, "So you're a sword?" This is all happening like people are talking in the chat, and meanwhile Jared is messaging me, and Dailu are struggling to like process both conversations at once, and Dailu is being like, "Yep,
Great.
nope, not talking to a sword." Riffraff takes a mild dislike to Orin. Says, "Wow, that halfling is a jerk," which is weird because Orin's a gnome. I don't know if
Oh no.
Riffraff is racist or if Jared forgot.
Jared did forget. That was on purpose. Jared
Yeah.
That's racist
Yeah.
what you got there, Dailu.
Yeah, and then importantly, at some moments later, Riffraff goes, "Oh fuck, is that Trespasser in your friend's hand?" And Dailu goes, "Yeah, that's the one." And Riffraff replies, "Keep that little shit away from me, way behind me, like the little coward he is."
Wow.
And then at some point, I was replying. This is so confusing because I was replying to Jared out loud, and he was replying to me in text. So this conversation goes, "I could go for a beer," Riffraff said, "for reasons unclear to me." Haha, I kill me. No, mostly I kill others. That's not a joke. No, it was a joke. It was a joke. Oh no, she was saying that the beer thing was a joke, but the killing was not a joke. So this is not a concerning conversation.
Yeah, I remember part of that because I think you started that when you started talking out loud to it. Like you started out like trying to be subtle about it, I feel like. And it became just so obvious you just started talking to it directly.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you asking it if a sword can drink. And that I think is what prompted the no, it was a joke.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, Dailu was struggling. This is the first time Dailu's ever talked to a sword in her mind, and Dailu kept accidentally like almost saying things out loud and then being like, no. This is a great example of a time that Dailu and Thane start lying to the party for no reason.
I
Like-
wouldn't say. Hang on. Whoa.
You wanted your magic stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no reason because if I'm like, hey,
No,
by
no
the way,
good reason.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a reason, and it is that Dilo and Thane are compulsive liars.
no, hang on. By the way, this weapon can talk, and I got it in this special realm. Vane would be like, throw that down right now, or like, we're putting concrete on it right now.
Yeah,
Not taking
right.
it-
Okay, Thane is allowed to make this argument in the past. Paul is not allowed to make this argument ever. Like, that would have been the correct response to that.
No, I no.
Trespasser's been.
Wait, you can't.
Trespasser's only tried to betray the group one time.
Whoa. You can't tell
Thank
me
you.
Wave has not been useful.
Wave has been useful, but Wave hasn't tried to kill. Listen, this
Okay.
is a
Right.
deeper conversation that we're about to actually come to.
Trespasser's not tried to kill anyone yet either.
We're about to actually get to the same thing on the next page, so we can.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's great. Oh my god, everyone remember this.
Yes.
I love when we get into fights in these recaps that we got into in real life. At a certain point, like it becomes very clear that so Dilo and Thane are like, no, we're not talking to swords, and then sneak off to have a side conversation
But
after having said things back and forth in Thieves' Camp.
we do it in Thieves' Camp, yeah.
At
Oh.
this,
I thought our side conversation was the one in Thieves' Camp.
I think we had said a couple things back and forth. Like I think at some point, like we went off to have a conversation about the like riffraff has been the death of many a rogue thing.
Okay.
But I think before that, Dilo and Thane had exchanged like, "Is your sword talking to you?" Oh my god, yeah, my sword's talking to me. And Sato at
Isn't
this
that
point,
yeah.
Sato at this point, for the first time when Dilo and Thane come back from their sketchy side conversation that they had, Sato is like, "Yeah, they're talking to their swords," and we're like, "Whoa.
And
No, we're not." And Sato's like, "Speak thieves can't."
Now it comes out.
yeah, and this is not okay for Thane because Thane and Dailu have been talking back and forth in Thieves' Camp about secrets all the time, thinking no one could understand.
Dilo
I
and
love
Thane have
that
talked
Thane
a
is-
lot of shit.
I love that Thane is also like offended. Like Thane is offended that someone knows kind of how low-key shitty he's been, and how dare you know that I was lying to you? Like that was the position that Thane took.
And it was wonderful.
There was a great line that Sato had where like Thane was like, "We need to be able to trust each other. You have to tell me things that you know." And Sato is just very calm and was like, "You were speaking in a secret language in front of us." And Thane was just like, shocked Pikachu face.
How dare you turn this back around on me? I thought you were my friend.
Yeah, it's great because like Sato's like not doing this in like like accusingly, but like just like confused face.
Just factually, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like this is marked here, but I'm pretty sure it happened here. Orin reads Dailu's mind.
I think it might happen later, just judging from the conversations on the next page of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not, and we can come back. But I think just given the way a conversation goes, I think we take a pause from that for a second, and we come to a large door at the top of the stairs. And when we get there, Wave says it can feel the king nearby, like the King of Road's energy is here. I ask, is it dangerous? And Wave responds, whether or not it's dangerous will depend on what we do when we go through this door.
Truth.
This is where we start having
Yes.
other conversations. Oren says he doesn't super trust Thane. This is after we know that they do have secret swords, and they have been speaking in a secret language. And Dailu and Oren are chill because they both stole each other's secrets, and they're at least on level playing field. Thane and Oren, Oren has had this kind of gut feeling for a long time that something is up with Thane, meaning that, like, it's always felt like the daggers and the frost, even though we're supposed to be the Frost Daggers, because Thane and Dailu don't share everything, but they have been fine companions and fine members of the team, but there's always felt like this rift, and this is where Orin brings that up. Says, don't super trust Thane and Dailu since they won't say anything about their weapons, and we hash some stuff out. Hash some stuff out is basically having a very similar argument that Paul and I just had.
That's fantastic that happens.
It was like, you're not telling us important stuff. Why is it important stuff? Because it could cause death. That hasn't caused any death, but it could cause death. And just.
And then I've got 2 notes under there of kind of what happens. So.
Taylor admits that she's talking to Riff Raff. I swear.
I think
That's
this is
around
where,
when you
up
started-
until this point, you two had been very like, no, we're not. And then at this point, I was like, all right, Riff Raff can talk. Like, you
Yeah,
just
that-
kind of dropped it, and you were.
Yeah,
I-
that's around when you started asking your sword if it could drink.
Because they're asking important questions. Is it at some point in here, Orin reads Dailu's mind, and she fails the save on it, and that means essentially Orin can actually hear what she is saying to Thane in Thieves' Cant because he can understand her actual thoughts while she's saying it. Dailu is very upset about this.
I guess I don't remember that happening, and I don't have it written down. So interesting.
Am I
Alright.
crazy, Devin?
I don't
feel
remember
like
that either. But is that a thing that happened later? Because Devin wouldn't have done that unless Orin knew you were speaking in Thieves' Camp. This might be a
Well,
thing after we get back to the
Devin-
ship.
I thought
Devin
he did
did?
because Sato said so.
Right. Sato is like just called out that that's what they're
Yeah.
doing.
Well, yeah, but after I don't remember it, so I was assuming that after Sato said it, you two stopped doing it because Sato could understand it.
Unless you
Yeah.
guys did it secretly. Like, if you read Dailu's mind secretly, like, pinged Jared, and then
I got really lucky
Scout
with a
found
wild
out
magic roll.
afterwards. Oh, that's a good point.
No. I also remember that at some point, and I think it was here, Dailu and Thane wanted to have a private conversation, and just sort of, this was probably Dailu, to be shitty, we're like, Sato, cover your ears.
That must
Let us
have
talk.
been where I did it, and you were like, "Cover your ears, we're gonna go have a talk," and Orin's like, "Fuck you, you're not gonna have a talk. Like, I want to understand what you're saying because which was
Yeah,
shitty of Orin, but like that was the mind thought."
But for quick comic relief, Vane does a religion check on the door, and he declares that this is God's bowels that we are about to enter.
Bowels or mouth?
Jared said,
of
"You
the
feel
two.
like this is like the center, like if it was a
Yeah.
body part, you'd be like in the and then Vane just goes, "This is God's bowels or mouth," without any of the context.
But real quick, going back to the Thane and Orin thing. Thane specifically brought up that Orin doesn't seem to be treating Dailu and Thane as part of the group, which Paul actually hadn't pieced this together, but I think Devin had said that hit Orin really hard because it was about like the same Rurik feeling of things.
Yeah, Rurik had like it was very. He hadn't been thinking about it, but as soon as you said it, it reminded Orin that like, hey, Rurik left because we shit on that guy for fun a little bit, and we considered him a buddy, but like it was a practical joke, and then like it was a whole big thing, and then the whole person and all that stuff. And so when Thane was like, "You're not treating us like the group," Orin was like, "Ooh, okay, maybe this isn't 100% y'all being shitty."
Alarm bells, yeah. And then Thane also brought up that Sato's been listening in on Dailu and Thane's conversations, so like
Our
I
private
want to
talk.
point up for Sato though. At that point, Sato was like, "I haven't been listening in. I just understand you." Like he made a point of like, "I haven't been sneaking. I just know what you're saying, and I didn't tell you about it."
We're like, you should have told us.
yeah, he still didn't say that he, that's
And she was also like, you haven't said anything that I felt like I needed to respond to up to this point until you started lying to the group overtly and saying that your weapons weren't talking to you when they were, a thing that is important. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
about something that seems like it could be immediately dangerous.
But anyway, I thought that was a really good talk between Orin and Thane, or at least I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
It
and
was
it didn't
really great.
and it didn't really get resolved. It was kind of a like,
Well, let's go in
okay,
here and meet God now. We'll finish this
I-
later.
I
I
think
remember a lot of us had a lot of really nice things. This is one time where Vayne has a successful compliment pass on Dailu.
oh yes,
Uh,
this is important. Yeah,
Yeah, so basically lots of debating, and I think Dailu says something to tunes of, and Vayne doesn't think that I'm good enough to have a magical weapon. And Vayne says, I am not worthy. I do not think that you are not deserving of a magical weapon, Dailu. You are an excellent duelist. You are one of the Frost Daggers. You are an amazing adventurer and individual. I do not believe that that magical weapon is worthy of you.
no, I love that.
Yeah,
That's a
it,
good line.
it's weird.
Ah.
It'll stay relevant. I'll say that for some reason. But Dalu in the moment is like, oh, I'm actually touched. I do want this sword though.
Yeah.
It's a really nice sword. Is the
I'm
thing.
making a note that Orin was present for that, so I can use that against you when we come back in July.
Sorry, going back just one more second. You guys said that the talk between Orin and Thane didn't really get resolved, but I feel like maybe I'm misremembering, but I thought at the end Orin was like, "We're gonna go through those doors. It's gonna be crazy. Like, we gotta have each other's backs." Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I know that when we get back on the ship, there's another conversation where we like really resolve stuff. And this resolved it to a point where it's like we're no longer going to be arguing. Let's go do this. But
Okay.
There's
Got
other
it.
things that happen later where it's like let's be buddies. I don't know if that
I do
actually
feel
happened,
like there was at least like a communicated like we'll try to be better.
Yeah.
At least I feel like from Orin to Thane, although I didn't get as much of that from Thane to Orin.
I think both of us said something to that respect, and I think both of us were lying a little bit. I was.
Oh man.
I'm pretty sure Thane was too at that point. It's like, yeah, sure, I won't lie to you
we'll
anymore.
definitely try to be better. Frost fingers behind back as they handshake.
So what I remember of it is that Thane didn't promise anything like this, like what AJ said. So I don't think Thane was lying. I just think Thane didn't promise it.
That was
That
my
makes more
recollection.
sense.
And it totally makes more sense or sense that Orin was lying about it. All right, let's go.
At this point, Tara also says, we get to the door, and Tara says, this is as far as they're going to go. If we go through this door, she can't follow. And I tell her to go back to the ship and wait for a few days to a week, and if we're not back, Tara can be captain and take the ship, completely disregarding that there's a first mate that would technically be in charge. And I think they actually comment on that, but I'm like, nope, you're captain. If we don't come back, you tell him that I said. But please wait for a week, because I don't know how long we're going to be in wherever this goes.
There was a thing Tara said that was.
I demand that you mutiny, Tara, if I don't come back.
I think she said and I think this was mainly to Orin, was like, if you go through this door, you're not a sailor anymore, you're an adventurer. Like there was something to the tune of like, you're choosing a path here, this is nuts. And if you do this, like you have chosen the path you are going down.
There's also there's another thing that I messaged to Tara at some point. I need to find it really fast because it was.
Meanwhile, apparently, after that thought, Dailu and Thane had a discussion of whether or not they wanted to fuck off.
We privately have a discussion. We see like, should we join? Should we leave? And I don't super remember this, but I have a note that says Thane says we could get something out of it. I really don't remember being like that greedy or whatever at this point, but I guess I was.
I think probably get something out of it in terms of like, this is worthwhile. Like,
and it maybe like an adventure story or something like this. Yeah, this could be epic.
This could be epic, and like, maybe this is how we get supercharged. And yeah, I don't think Dailu was super into the idea of like leaving, but I feel like this was probably Thane initiated. I don't want to slander, but I feel like this was probably just based on other things that have happened. I think this was probably Thane being like, "Do you want to leave?" And Dailu being like, no, I'm mad, but no."
Yeah.
Thane being like, no, yeah, me neither.
Oh my god, just not gonna spoil anything that happens, but how perfect would it have been if not perfect, perfect maybe isn't the right word. How Rurik would it have been if Thane had convinced Dailu to go?
Leave.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Anyway,
God.
we'll see what happens.
That would have been a great way out of. Editor can cut this if they want, but that would have been a great way for once again me and Paul to avoid responsibility for a huge whoopsie that the party made.
Yep.
We got out of it with the orbs. We would have gotten out of it with something that is coming up also.
One thing I want to make a note of that it happened. I think it's relevant to a little bit of Jared calling or Tara calling Orin an adventurer if it goes to that door. Right before I went up through that black shadow and kicked off all the sequences, I looked at Tara and I messaged and I said, if I die, there are letters in my quarters. And she gave me this look like, what the fuck? And then I disappeared into the shadows. And I think both of these things together kind of made it clear that, like, Orin's going into this not expecting to always come out of it. And he's not like a captain of a ship. He's a person who is a captain on a ship right now. And so she's like, I'm a sailor. I need to, this is way beyond what I signed up for. So back to the ship I go.
So Tara goes back to the ship. Or does she wait here? I can't remember.
No,
I think
she
she
goes
went
back to the ship. Back down the stairs.
Dailu and Thane do not go back to the ship.
We all open that darn door.